honey, is 6,000 okay for power washing? She says yes, and I did it the next day. It was
$6,000.
$6,000.
By taking the next step forward, then the next step's gonna open. Then the next door is gonna open. And like momentum creates opportunity.
I was scared. I mean, think about it. Like you're getting on a mic in front of
The most judgmental
crowd.
Yes. What is Unc doing?
Yeah.
Customer's happy, hands you the check. Walk back towards the sidewalk. What's going through your head? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. If you're looking for a neighborhood that offers more than just a beautiful home, check out Aberdeen in Center Grove. It's Indiana's first agri-hood and wellness lifestyle community, a place designed with elegance and intention. From the architecture to the open land, everything about Aberdeen encourages connection to each other and to a simpler, more grounded way of living. The terrain is rolling, the features are timeless, and it's designed for all ages, families, business owners, and new empty nesters. This is a neighborhood where you actually have room to breathe and space to connect. As the vision says, residents love their neighbors and their community as themselves. That's rare and it's worth seeing in person. Schedule a tour at aberdeenliving.com. My guest today is Jackson. He is a student entrepreneur from Carmel High School who launched a business, power washing, and in just 2 months, knocked on over 1,000 doors and earned more than $25,000 competing in High School Hustle's Summer Challenge. Summer competition. He describes himself on LinkedIn as faith-driven, hardworking, and I'm going to describe him as one heck of an entrepreneur. I'm also joined by my good friend Hunter Beale. Hunter is the executive director of High School Hustle. They're a nonprofit empowering high schoolers to build real side businesses. They're mentor-driven and competing for a share of tons of cool prizes. They're getting real dollars. They're building real businesses. We're going to dive into Jackson's incredible story where he knocked on over 1,000. I said 1,000 earlier, and he said over 1,000, sir.
1,031.
1,031 doors. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Nate.
Thank you.
Let's go. When I first heard Jackson's story, it might have been in the fall, I heard about this kid who knocked on over 1,000 doors and made over 25 grand as a high schooler. It's like, I don't know how long it took.
Without a car. Doesn't have a car, 15 years old, like when it gets the grain. It's crazy.
Bro, that's wild. This is going to be an incredible episode. We're going to learn a little bit more about not only Jackson's story, but High School Hustle in general. The way that Hunter and Scott and everyone are empowering these high schoolers to make real impact in their community, to build real businesses, and to learn about the great skill that is entrepreneurship. Jackson, where does this story start? Where does your entrepreneurial journey begin?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just about like seeing the hustle. The hustle is everywhere.
So where did you first see the hustle?
As far back as I was selling pencils and little arts and crafts at like family Thanksgiving for 10 cents, whatever it was. And from there, I've just been scaling ever since.
What was the first transaction? Your first ever transaction? How old? What was it?
It was the first dollar I ever made, which I still have the dollar, was selling. It was I don't remember the exact art piece, but it was some piece of art at family dinner.
Yeah. Who bought it?
It was my grandma.
Shout out grandma.
Yeah.
Come on. You sold a piece of art. How old were you?
Maybe 5, I don't know.
Okay. Young.
Yeah.
And then from then you just it just snowballed into you selling more things or working or learning about business?
Yeah. I mean, just seeing success in the hustle, it makes it hard not to scale. I went from arts and crafts to then snow blowing, a lemonade stand, which with the lemonade stand, that was a big success. Started in the neighborhood and then went onto the Monon Trail and made over $100 in a day.
Yeah.
Which at like 8 years old was pretty legit.
Dude,
Yeah.
$100 as an 8-year-old is crazy.
Yeah. And so from there, I mean, I got into popsicles because like I could sell a popsicle for $3 versus 50-cent lemonade. And so
how were you learning about this? Like, did you have a mentor or someone teaching you?
I mean, my dad was kind of behind it, like giving out the ideas, and I was just the one taking the ideas. But I mean, it's really just a matter of seeing the hustle and capturing it.
You keep saying the word "seeing the hustle." You keep saying hustle. Talk to me. Because I think that in 2025, 2026, like sometimes hustle gets a bad connotation. Like workaholics and hustle. And in the old days, hustle had a bad connotation too because you were like a hustler. You were like
you're scamming
people. Yeah. What does hustle mean to you?
I would say it's seeing an opportunity. So there's opportunity in, I would say, just about everything. Like, for example, I want to start a Christmas light business. That's one of the things I was looking at this winter. And my dad is like, I don't want you up on ladders super high up. So I've got the idea. That doesn't stop me from selling, right? I'm still great at selling. So I can get commission out of selling for another Christmas light business. Like, there's a way to work
Get his
with
residuals.
Yeah, there's a way to work with just about anything that's given to you.
Bro, that would actually, you go up and you're like selling it, and then somebody, like some grown man comes and puts the lights on for them. Like, honestly, not a bad gig.
Right, I know.
Okay,
yeah.
Everyone has great ideas. How many times have you sat out there with your friends or anyone that's like, oh yeah, this would be a great business idea, and then at the end of that's it. That's it. No one ever acts on it. No one ever does anything. It's just like, okay, like blah, 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 blah. Like I thought of that first. Like, okay, cool. No one cares about who thought about it. Who's acting on it, right?
Yeah. And I would say, I would even go further. How I define hustle is you can make your first dollar within 48 hours. That dollar being the action in of itself, and the hustle being something simple. You can start power washing, gutter cleaning, girls doing nails, thrifting, reselling on Etsy, eBay, lawn mowing, dog walking. There's so many of these tiny hustles. And that's how, at least at High School Hustle, we're defining it. Within 48 hours, a weekend, you can make your first dollar.
Yeah, and too many people think about it like, oh, I got to start this elaborate business, and I got to file my LLC and raise money and do it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, just like go find someone who's willing to pay you money to do something. And in the short term, you might be trading, an hour for $10. But like in the long term, you can trade an hour for $1,000, trade an hour for $10,000, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you think about how much time you invested a ton of time over the summer, but like your hour became so much more valuable than your peers.
One perspective is that breaking the relationship between time and money, I think is so valuable. Like you only have a certain amount of hours in a day. So why an hour is not worth $20, $40, $50, whatever it is. And so what I'm looking into and scaling into a bigger business is breaking that relationship fully with power washing and having employees and having multiple machines, selling reps, like people out selling for me. That relationship was somewhat broken because it's not like every hour I put in, I'm getting out a certain amount of money, but breaking that relationship fully and having my money work for me versus just sit, I think is what will lead to...
What a stud.
Yeah, what will lead to great success.
Tons of success, yeah. So talk to me about, you're going to be are you a sophomore
I'm a
currently?
sophomore right now.
But like, did you have a specific business or hustle coming into high school?
I've always seen success with hustle, like from back to the lemonade stands, doing it in the neighborhood, then on the Monon Trail and getting more traction, then with the popsicles. And then instead of having people come to me to buy these $3 popsicles, I had a cooler bag and I would approach people downtown Carmel, downtown Indianapolis, selling these popsicles. And like that worked great. And then from there, did snow blowing. And my dad's been supportive of it. And like when I first went out selling snow blowing, my dad called one of my neighbors and was like, come on, like say yes, they need this, yes. And that first yes, snow blowing motivated my brother and I, and we worked a full weekend and made quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
So like it's seeing the small successes and that transcribed into power washing.
Yeah.
And
snowballed.
Yeah, snowballed. There you go.
Right? Snowballed into. Did you know about High School Hustle when you were a freshman? Like when you first got to school?
No, I found out about it through social media. I actually don't know what it quite was that brought it about. But I saw something about it on social media.
I saw this tall dude in lunches giving away money, and you're like, wait a second, who's this guy?
That's probably what it was.
Okay. So talk to me about the first time you met Hunter.
I think you were calling me or something like that. I don't think we met each other in person, but he's such a hustler. Like if you don't pick up on the first ring, I'm like, all right, spam number or whatever. Like he'll follow up text, and then he'll follow up with calls, and like he'll eventually land you. And he's like, hey, how close am I? I think it's when we were verifying revenue for our summer competition. That was the
Yeah.
first time we got in a conversation.
So where did you first get involved with High School Hustle then?
I mean, I heard about the money being handed out over the summer and thought it was too good to be true, and just looked into it more on the website and saw like Scott behind this and Peter behind this. And I mean, it seemed pretty legit. So
Yeah.
I put forth effort into making that top 10 for the summer challenge. And it was during that last maybe month or so that I connected with Hunter to make sure I was top 10 and up there.
Take us through what the program is. So you discover it. This would have been spring of your freshman year.
Yeah.
You learn about this entrepreneurship challenge, this
Yeah.
like High School Hustle summer competition.
Yeah.
Take us through what it is.
Two guys, Peter and Scott, I guess, working through Hunter and a ton of other mentors to give back to the younger community and generation through mentoring, through funding kids' hustles, through motivation. And I mean, I'd say the biggest part of that is the summer challenge where they're giving out $100,000.
Day one, you say, I want to be part of High School Hustle.
Yep.
And then you're just like, welcome to the club.
I was greeted by a mentor.
So within Carmel, there's one mentor at Carmel High School.
There are multiple mentors.
Okay.
And I mean, there's different levels to it. Some of these guys are more just like motivating the hustle. And then some of them, like Joseph was my main mentor, and he was bringing up different ideas and was helping me process through multiple things.
So how did you know what you were going to do for the summer?
I looked at what I had going for me. And 2 summers ago, I did a little bit of power washing. I used my uncle's little like $100 electric power washer and made decent amount of money, and then had some money from that, and I just reinvested it. And this summer went all in, and I've got
So you got like a nice power washer?
I've got 5 machines now. Yeah, so a lot of I've got
Okay.
quite a bit.
All right. So you find out about this program that's teaching entrepreneurship to high school students.
Yeah.
They're giving away $100,000 over the summer to top 10 students that make the most money. Is that how it went?
Revenue.
You get your mentor, Joseph. You decide you're going to go all in on power washing.
Yeah.
That becomes a thing. And your goal is to be one of the top 10 student entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Summer starts and it's like go. Or
Yeah.
when do they start tracking? When like what was the dates?
It was, what was it? June 1st is when it started. Yeah, June 1st. And then it went through, I think, August 1st.
Okay.
Roughly.
All right. So you get 2 months. Day one, what are you doing?
I mean, knocking on doors.
Knock on the first
Indiana.
door. What does it look like?
My pitch changed over the summer because towards the end of the summer, I was really levitating the high school hustle factor, and that I was explaining the top 10 and that I was borderline top 10, didn't know. And so that really motivated my pitch. But the beginning of the summer, I mean, I was introducing myself.
Let's do a role play here.
All right. So I'm knocking.
Hello.
And then, hi, my name's Jackson Nunnery. I'm a young entrepreneur in high school. I have a power washing business. Do you have any interest? I'll just leave it at that.
So you just do you have any interest?
Open-ended.
I'm really interested in entrepreneurship. Is that what you're asking if I have interest in?
Nope, power washing.
Power
I've got
washing.
the power washing business.
Yeah.
So, but I'll leave it open-ended because it could go in a lot of different ways. I'd have people, I mean, I met some pretty great people through door knocking, like mentor-wise, not anybody that I'm fully like working with, but there was a lot of relationships built through door knocking.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people would be like, oh yeah, tell me more. I don't need power washing, but tell me more about who you are, what you're doing. And then a lot of the time I would get a no right off the bat because I mean, it's easy to say no, right?
I don't think so. It's not
You don't
easy to
think?
say. I think it's hard to say no to a high school kid.
Yes.
I think it's hard. Like if I show up and they're like, "Screw you, man!" Like I don't need you. But I would never say no to a high school kid that's putting themselves out there. And I think that there are a lot of people that think that way. But also, yeah, sometimes people just in general with door knocking or cold calling are like, no. So
Yeah.
you got a lot of no's right off the jump.
Yeah, definitely. There's a ton of no's with
Like
it.
what was the worst experience?
Yeah, I definitely got yells and slammed.
No
doors
way.
Slammed. Yeah, for sure. And so this one time, they had a ring and they had a little sign that says no soliciting. So that's always fun when you knock on the no soliciting.
But why were you
signs.
trying to solicit a no solicitor?
I mean, how are you gonna
Yes.
You can't stop
I'm
just
in.
because
I'm
right.
in.
So this one, which may not show super well out there.
It's all right.
Knocking the no soliciting signs. But so I knocked this one door with the no soliciting sign, and it was a ring. And so I rang the doorbell and knocked. And through the doorbell, they were like, "Get out of here. I'm going to let my dogs out on you." And so I didn't know, like, are they joking? Are they serious? They seem pretty mad. But I mean, like, who would really do this? And so I'm walking away, and these two little poodles come running out from the backyard. And they legit let their dogs out on me. Like, people have tempers.
That's unfortunate. You know, I think that the fact that there are people out there that, but that's just how life goes.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't change. I think it's surprising to me that that's how people would treat a high schooler. I think that's unfortunate. Like, people are mean a lot of the time. And
Yeah.
it's like, and they get to hide behind their little Ring camera and they let their little poodles out. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. Well, okay, tell me about the greatest experience from knocking on 1,000 doors.
Borderline top 10 for hustle. And so I'm out here knocking the biggest houses that I can find in Carmel. So I knocked this one door, and super nice house. And this guy answers, and I give him my pitch. And he's like, "Yeah, just give me a quote for everything." And when I say everything, I'm talking like driveway, walkway, sidewalk, multiple back decks, pool area. Like, it was a massive job.
It's freaking massive. He showed me the video. The amount of concrete is insane. It's a massive house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know what I'm doing. Like, this is massive. I'm trying to come up with a number because he's like, "Oh yeah, go count up everything and come back with a number." And so I'm looking around, and I come back to the door, and I was like, normally I'd do 7,000, but for you, I'll just do 6,000 and I can get it done whenever. And he yells up to his wife. He's like, "Honey, is 6,000 okay for power washing?" She says yes. And I did it the next day.
No
Yeah.
way.
So it was
$6,000.
$6,000. It was.
How'd you come up with? I think it's
How-
interesting. How'd you come up
Yeah.
with a number? Because there's a part of the story that you left out when you were walking back. You were walking back from the pool. Say that little bit of story. How you came up with the number?
It's kind of hard to come up with a number so big when I've never given a number anything. I mean,
Yeah.
majority of my jobs is nothing.
Like,
compared to that.
what was your average size of a job?
$300 to $1,000.
Yeah, like,
was
and if
my,
you got a $1,000 job, were you like pumped?
I mean, that would be considered decently good. Yeah. So
Bro, who is this kid? $1,000 as a high
6,000
schooler?
was pretty legit.
How long would it take you to do if it was a $1,000 job?
Majority of the jobs, I had buddies working for me.
Like, how, if you were doing a $1,000 job, how many hours would that take you to complete?
Honestly, it would really depend and change. I would say I would come out averaging about $150 an hour.
Still like an 8-hour day of labor on a $1,000 job. Maybe like a 6-hour day.
Yeah, something
that's
like
6
that.
hours of labor that's going to go into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one with the 7,000, like this is like almost a full week if you were just doing it by yourself, power washing.
Yeah. So for the $6,000 job, I had two of my buddies working for me majority of the time for $20 an hour, and it was finished in 2.5, 3 days. So,
Dang.
yeah, and the profit margins are just like outstanding. I came out of it with about $6,300. So it was $5,300.
So yeah, you paid your buddy and then
Yeah.
material, labor, all the stuff.
But look at that $6,000 close. He's walking from the back of the pool, and he was telling me in part of his story, he was like, maybe you were on the phone with your buddy or something. He couldn't come up with a number. He was like, I have no idea how to quote
Right.
this. I didn't think he was going to say yes.
How were you figuring it? Were you like looking at square footage?
No, I was just like guessing. Like, I'm honestly out here taking a guess, and I'm thinking, how many hours is this going to take? Can I come at, like, if I break this down, am I going to be at 200 an hour, 300 an hour? What
Did
am I
the guy
looking
just
at?
look at you straight faced?
Oh yeah, he was like nonchalant as could be about a $6,000 quote, and made a minute decision, and I started the next morning.
How did you learn how to sell?
Honestly, just getting out there and doing it. You learn from your failures, and the summer prior to this most recent summer, when I initially started power washing, I just went out and knocked, and you learn quickly.
What's the secret to talk big numbers? Like, what do you think? If you were giving sales advice to someone, like a lot of times it's, especially early on, high school, your first kind of job, it's a race to the bottom. Everyone's like, I want to be the cheapest. I want to be the cheapest. Like, I want them to say yes. I want it to be a layup. What do you think about that?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say I want to be the cheapest. I think the charm and the confidence behind
This disarming 15-year-old boy comes and says, slaps like, it's going to be 10 G's, Grandpa.
Yeah, right. I mean, maybe 10 G's is a little over the top, but it's hard for Grandpa to turn it down, right? I mean,
but that was not egregious. Like, that's the ballpark that someone would charge to do their place.
Yeah.
And it's like, just because you're a student doesn't mean that like the work is like, that. I don't know, it's power washing, right? It's like the level between the
It's got a low barrier to entry.
Yeah, the best power washer and the worst power washer, is it that different?
No.
Like,
not at all.
it's like, is it clean or is it not?
Yeah.
Something that's interesting. So $6,000 you got out of that. And then how much time did you put into that job for like going there, the sale from when you stepped on his piece of property to the job finished? How much time did you put to this? Because I think it's super impressive at a young age to be delegating to other people. And that's like the power of business. There's like self-employment, and then you learn to create an actual business, which is employees, them working for you. I'm interested. How much time did you spend on that? So it was $5,300 profit. What was step on the property to close and get the check and walk around with the client?
Yeah. So I'd say roughly 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours, just because there was an additional, it's not just selling. I had to pick up equipment, drop off equipment.
But you don't have a car. How are you getting your equipment there?
Yeah. So actually, I bought a golf cart, and that was used at times. And then sometimes my dad would drive me around if he's got the free time. But
shout out to Pops.
yeah.
Come on.
So
You bought a golf cart.
I bought a golf cart, and I didn't even use it, or when I was buying it, I didn't have the idea of using it for business in the back of my mind. I was just buying it for the fun of it, and it's like a miniature car, big enough that I could like fit multiple power washers on it, and it was pretty legit.
That is crazy. 5 or 6 hours. So that's $1,000 an hour work.
Yeah.
Bro. That's wild.
Yeah.
Job's done. Customer's happy. Hands you the check. You're turning around to walk back towards the sidewalk. What's going through your head?
I mean, I was thinking that I made it for top 10. I was hoping that $6,000 check locked me in position, and it did, thankfully.
Yeah.
So
what was the top earner?
50. I can't remember the change on it, about 50,000.
There was a kid who made $50,000 top line in the summer.
Yeah. So we had like, we got attorneys to make terms and conditions for such a big, like we were about to willy-nilly. We're the type of entrepreneurs, we're painting the plane as it's in the sky. And like, as we teach, we eat our own dog food. It's like, you're going to learn way more by doing instead of making this business plan or this idea you talk to your buddies with for 2 years and no one ends up doing anything. Like Jackson getting this $6,000 job. He didn't know how to quote it, but he didn't go back and say, hold on, give me a couple days to quote this. I need to learn this. He did it on the fly. And I think like a lot of this was done on the fly in a good, positive way. So we had terms and conditions for this. And so it went down to like, it can't be run through we want to make it as fair as possible. So it can't be run through like if Nate Spangle, your dad has a big business and you go work for him and he's sending you like a 1099, there could be no loopholes for parents and family members.
Yeah.
That we wanted to keep it as fair that it is a student-led hustle.
Yeah.
And
that'd be weird if people would try to cheat the system.
There's just so many unique circumstances to make it as fair as possible. So we had attorneys help us come up with like different situations to have the terms and conditions for it. And then when it was locked in, we spent about a week or two and we manually went through and I was uploading the picture. So when on the software, so that's the High School Hustle has a software that the students are logging into, logging their revenue. And so they provide images. So they can't log their revenue if they don't provide proof, which is usually proof of invoice, Venmo, cash, which we can run serial code numbers on to make sure they're not using the same cash. And then proof of work. So it's like I mowed this lawn picture. We could throw that picture into Google and basically scrape the entire web to make sure that's not a replicate anywhere else. So we actually did, unfortunately, catch someone doing it that was in top 10, which was like, it was super unfortunate. Had to call the person and just tell them like, this is what I found. Unfortunately, you're just not going to be in the running for the 10K. Like, it was like, it was extremely, it wasn't even obvious. I was like, oh my gosh, like we almost
This is the thing though, dude. Like we talk about this a lot. if people put the same amount of effort into like cheating the system into like winning at the
exactly.
system, they can do some pretty powerful stuff.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. So it's kind of an eye opener. Yeah.
But I mean, I dude, you know, that
it's a lot of money up on the
prizes,
line. Yeah. 10K for the top 10. Like people want 10K. It's
but
a lot
like
of money.
the number one, the 50,000 was legit.
Yeah. So that was Cruz Widener.
Was that the guy out of Zionsville?
Yeah, he runs a landscaping business. And mind you, all of this we spent, I think, collectively about 250 plus hours just verifying the top 10 to make sure every single dollar was counted up to make sure it was as fair as possible and abiding by the rules.
Yeah.
So we had like some shifting around of like, we can't count this, like, sold your dad's car. And then it's like you sold it for the same amount of money and it can be counted as revenue. And it's like, there's a certain amount of.
Sold your dad's car.
Or not sold your dad's car, but like it was like in the back and it was a rusted like car and sold it for like $3,000 or whatever. A Jeep Cherokee that's in the 90s or whatever. It's like who owned it and who sold. Like you can't run that through and say that was your revenue and you got $250. You need to log the $250 that your dad gave you to like sell the car type of thing. So we have a ton of those situations where people are going for high dollar amounts. It's like, can I flip a boat for $20,000 and like buy it for $20,000 and sell it to someone for $20,000? And like, would that count? Over, I think we put the threshold, I think around $500 to $1,000 that like, we're going to look, it flips to profit instead of revenue. We just say revenue because it becomes really confusing and methodical in the details, but we didn't want like, it to be taken advantage of.
Take me through what the like numbers that were in the top 10.
50,000, and there was Jackson Marr who also did. Keep in mind they have like trucks, like massive trailers on the back, and this isn't their parents' business. This is 100% of their business. Like we've vetted, there's no like, oh, I bet his parents gave him everything, or like, oh, he lives here, so I bet like they got it on their own. They started in the 8th grade, so I would say we attract.
So some people already had a head start, but
Correct.
based on time.
Yes, so we're looking at shifting the competition. We'll get into that probably later, but like Jackson Nunnery came in and he had the hustle. We're accelerating them. There's 90% that I would say we're awakening to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So like there's the top 10 was really, we were accelerating all of them. They already had a hustle, which we're looking at changing the summer competition around and to be figured out.
Of like who go, because it's kind of like all of those lists. Like it's based on percentage growth, like year over year, right? Like the 5,000 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So like going from 0 to 10,000 versus going from 10,000 to 15,000.
Is a lot of yeah, exactly.
Like it's definitely harder. 0 to 10K as a kid. That's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once you get those, it's the skills of getting that amount that is like what's so. But so it was about 50K. Jackson Marr was just right under him around. Like I think it was $1,000 less than him. He wanted to be number 1 so bad. Evan Hartman was number 3. He did about 45,000. He closed 1 contract. He's also a very insane hustler. He raised like
contract.
Yeah, 16 years old, super smart. I would say like Mark Zuckerberg lookalike in the IQ, smartness. I mean, he's next. He raised $775,000 at 16 years old. No BS. Like you think it's too good to be true. I swear to you. But there's these. But I mean, imagine Mark Zuckerberg or Mark Cuban at these young ages. Like you think it's too good to be true.
Wait, what was his?
He did data scraping, and then now he's focusing on Humera, which deals with "Are you a human?" challenge when you log into Google and it says like bicycle, this, that, the other. He's running basically this automation to basically detect on mouse movement. There's like 1,000 triggers to make sure you're not an AI or bot overloading the website. So he built Humera. They're in beta with some, I think it's like 4 pretty big companies right now. So like he's crushing it. He was number 3. He did 45,000. He was really focused on Humera. Like he probably would have been number 1 if he spent a lot more, but he was building Humera and he was raising capital for it. So you just closed 1 contract.
And you gotta get with him and you gotta get on his cap table.
He looks up to him a lot. And he wants to hang around him.
Say, hey, dude, I made. How much did you make over the summer?
Roughly 25,000.
Bro, take 10, 15 of that and invest in your boy.
Yeah.
Dude, that could be life-changing money.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's
without a doubt.
You start getting the older hustlers and invest in the younger hustlers, and dude, That's how you start to cook.
Oh yeah, without
That's
a doubt.
crazy, dude. If you've been hunting for a brunch spot that understands food allergies and has bold flavors, look no further than Fire and Ice Cafe in Indianapolis. This hidden gem serves up European-inspired dishes that are entirely gluten-free. They're also completely free from peanuts, tree nuts, soy, sesame, fish, and crustaceans. We're talking biscuits, sandwiches, crepes, falafel bowls, pastries, and of course, all your favorite brunch drinks, crafted with serious care and a whole lot of flavor. Whether you've got food restrictions or just interested in great taste, this place is a must visit. Seriously, I don't have dietary restrictions, but the food actually rocks here. You definitely need to check it out. Grab your brunch crew and head to Fire and Ice Cafe at 6211 Allisonville Road, and your taste buds are gonna thank you. In all, how much revenue did high schoolers attached to the summer competition bring in?
So it was roughly just under $1 million in student revenue within about 6 months.
In 6 months.
I would say like actually competing, we noticed about 25%. So the program starts in January and it goes through
This
May.
is the whole program, but
So
it was
whole
just
program,
the summer.
yeah. So for the summer part, it's about 25% of revenue is made in the preseason that leads up, which is like in-person program, more nuanced stuff I won't get into right now. And then the summer competition, it quadrupled. That's 75% of the student revenue made. They have a lot more time. You're not playing sports. You may have like, practice or something, but you have so much more free time. That's why we made the summer competition at that time.
Almost $1 million of high school revenue. Through how many kids?
It was 2,200 signed up. That's top of funnel. That's us going to lunch and like talking about it and having a pitch competition there and them signing up.
How many made over $300?
Several hundred, I think right under like 500 or something. So like there's the funnel just gets, they wanted to pitch, and we'll get into how the process works in a little bit later. But like ultimately I'd say like just under 500 or something like that. I can't
Well, take
remember.
us through the process. How does this work? You had over 2,000 students sign up for the program.
The quick rundown explanation, the hustle, and just going back to that is like Jackson doing power washing, gutter cleaning, girls doing nails, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what we're really telling them and like pushing. We're actionable entrepreneurship. But the first thing we do is we go to that school and we try to get a lunch. So what that looks like is, and it's proven to be a lot harder than we thought. And it's a good thing, in my opinion, that schools are protective, that they don't like.
They don't just let these random people come in off the side of the road.
Exactly. Yeah, that's probably good.
Like, hey, I'd like to give the students in your lunch money.
Wow. Yeah, that doesn't come off too good. So what we did is that was a lot of failure going into that, because I could do like Fishers High School, where I'm from, because I'm alumni. I knew a couple teachers there, so I could find my way into it. So we tried to find mentors that had their kids went to that school, or funders that went to their kids went to that school, or they went to that school, to talk to someone they knew to get us into a lunch. We realized like a cold email to this teacher was extremely hard. So we found a way in, and then we planned a lunch date, and we'd get a couple mentors to help volunteer that wanted to run that school. They usually own a business or want to start a business. They've been in the corporate world a little bit and want to break out. So we'd have like 5 at Fishers, for example, and I'd go up there. We had a briefcase of $100K that was fake money. I would that would be too big of a liability.
You don't have to say that. You don't. Yeah, it looked like $100K.
It looked really real, honestly, but it says motion picture on it. But we
Yeah, I
had
got that cash
a
too.
briefcase, $100K in it, and then we come in with a couple $100 bills. Now,
Real $100 bills.
real $100 bills. So this was Peter Servaz's idea, and he did it a while ago. And he's like, "I'm telling you, this is gonna work." Me and Scott Lingle, the other co-founder. So there's Peter Servaz and Scott Lingle. They're the 2 co-founders of High School Hustle, and they hired me to run it. And me and Scott were like, "Dude, Peter, you're like thinking way too crazy. This isn't gonna work." So like the first lunch, he just did it, and I was like, I was scared.
Did you
to
go
be
with
told.
him?
Yeah, I was scared. I mean, think about it. Like you're getting on a mic in front of probably like the
most judgmental
crowd
yes.
that is gonna like
high
roast
school
you.
kids, dude.
Yeah, and
What is Unc doing?
yeah, exactly. So it was like I was definitely fearful.
Wait, did you give them $600 or $700? Yeah.
Won the
Parents out there are gonna be so ticked when they hear that one. Okay, so Peter walks in there and says, "I'll do it."
Yeah.
Peter is also, he does not care.
Yeah, he
like
doesn't care.
No, he does care a lot, but he does not, like, he'll do
Anything.
He's just himself.
Yeah,
Like
and
Peter's
which has helped me grow a ton. But yeah, Peter is like, I don't care what anyone thinks. Like, I'm going to just do this. I think that it's going to work. And it was at Purdue Polytech, which is inner city school. So I just didn't know what to expect. Peter jumps on a mic. So we print a bunch of QR codes out on a piece of paper. And the QR codes were the landing page to sign up as a student. So before the lunch bell rung, the teacher, brought us in. We're about in 15, 30 minutes early. And we're putting these QR codes across all tables so that they can quickly scan it if they want to sign up. And so Peter got up on the mic and he was like, hey guys, I'm with High School Hustle. I'm going to give a couple $100 away. So the most important part is the psychology of like, the 15 to 18-year-olds is super short, like attention span. So when you show the $100, you have about 10 seconds to say what you want. And then you bring out the briefcase with $100K in it, and it gives you, call it 15 seconds. So you got a really quick pitch, and then you get their attention and jaws drop. I'll never forget, like, Peter getting on the mic, and it was the funniest thing because I was like, ooh, this isn't going as planned. We'd flesh out the process because it was our first lunch all together, me, Scott, Peter, and some other volunteers. And Peter would be talking, and like no one was paying attention. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, but we'd have mentors, the volunteers would be going out and talking to students like, hey, did you scan the QR code or hear him up there? Or like the mic wasn't working around the lunch super well. We just figured it out. And there was like what we'd call runners trying to convince students to come pitch. So this simple laid out process, because I think I'm getting in the weeds a little bit too much, is scan the QR code. We're giving a couple $100 away, and you can compete for this $100K that we're giving away. So we'd show the briefcase, and everyone's jaws dropping, necks would be turning like crazy.
Yeah.
And then we'd say, if you want to be a part of High School Hustle, scan the QR code and sign up, and come pitch us for 15 seconds a hustle you do this weekend to make your first dollar. So like most entrepreneurship things are led, like organizations for the youth are leading up to a pitch competition. And full disclosure, they're amazing. They give you a different skill set. There's like a lot of good things with that. But we flipped it and started it with a pitch competition, and then to compete against real revenue and real business. So the pitch competition would be as simple as, hi, my name's Hunter Beale. I want to start a snow cone business. And then what I do with this $100 is put it towards my snow cone machine. So like we'd say your name, your hustle, and what you do with the $100. And one of you is going to win in here for this $100. So, and if you're too scared, scan the QR code and sign up. But if you want to pitch and compete for this couple $100 we're giving away, then scan the QR code and come up here and pitch. But scan the QR code regardless.
Yeah. All right. What was the most successful lunchtime activation that you guys did?
I would say I can't critique the first because we were fleshing it out. But once I got in a groove, like, man,
so
I
give
knew.
me so like I'm sitting there, Jackson and I are eating lunch. We're like, I don't know what high school. 6'7", 6'7", oh yeah, bro. And then you just get on the mic and what do you say?
Hey guys, I'm Hunter Beale with High School Hustle. I'm going to give a couple $100 away instead. I have a couple $100 in my hand.
Yeah.
This lunch period, one of you is going to walk away with $100. No joke. This is real $100 bill. And then I learned you wouldn't have too much of a pitch to put in there. So it's, hey, we're going to have a program here. And all you have to do and know for today is we have QR codes on your desk. You scan it, sign up, and you have to come up here and pitch us your business idea, which is your name, your hustle, and what you do with this $100. That simple. 15 seconds.
Well, what was the most amount of kids that ever pitched?
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
Oh, dude, the line was, it never fails.
Where at?
Center Grove was one of the last lunches, and that's when we really locked in the process of like, I got in the flow. I now had like, multiple repetitions in a school getting on a mic and feeling comfortable on a mic and getting everyone's attention and yelling. It depends on the size of the school. Obviously, like Martinsville is going to be different than
So in Center Grove, you said hundreds of kids came and pitched.
Yeah, the line was so long we couldn't get through everyone.
What was the most memorable pitch?
Blake Wilson at Fishers High School. The coolest idea, one of the coolest that just comes to mind is he was going to take a kayak, and I believe it was him. It may be Sam Hutchison at Fishers. I can't remember which one it was. A kayak and get a load of pizzas on the back and go on like Geist or something and sell pizzas during the summer. And so I was like, that's actually a pretty good idea. Like if you're on a boat and you're hungry and you're selling per slice, and like I was like, that's actually really genius.
All my money.
Yeah.
Take it all.
Especially on Geist.
Yeah. I think it was one of the more creative and realistic ideas
that's
for
a
sure.
Great hustle.
Yeah.
You could do that on like Saturday afternoons. You just go out there with 10 pizzas. You come home with $500.
Yeah. And it's funny, this summer I was on a boat, and this summer a kid was on a little boat, and he had a cooler in this like little dinghy boat, and with the tiniest motor, and he had a poster, and it was like $1 popsicle, this, that, the other, $5 for this, $5 for Gatorade. Comes with a poster, and I bought as much from him. And I told him of course I pitched him on High School Hustle. I was like, dude, you gotta compete on this, without a doubt.
Okay, Jackson, talk to me about when they came to your lunch and like do you remember this?
So we didn't have a lunch at Carmel. So that's the hardest part, is some of the schools are very strict on not coming to lunch. They kind of think we send them like videos, and we've created like what it actually looks like, but like it's too big, or there's a lot of different things that ultimately happen, but like completely understand. I think like going forward, like we'll keep the schools we're currently at, but like if a school won't let us run a lunch, then it's just not worth our time, and we're just going to be like, thanks, but like it's just not going to happen for us anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to be pretty strict about that going forward. Like if we can't launch a lunch, we just know that it's just ineffective. Like Jackson said, like your time, where do all students gather at one time of the day during school?
Well, 3 times, yeah.
Yeah, 3 times or however many times.
How many lunches does Carmel have?
4, I think.
I feel like in Carmel they probably start eating lunch at like 10 and get done at 2. You got to get all
There's
the
also
students.
like 4 different cafeterias and a cafe.
Yeah, it is really kind of inefficient.
I mean, but we did Fisher's High School, and there's 4,000. How many go to Carmel? Like crazy amount.
A little over 5,000, I want to say.
Yeah, so wild. Like Fisher's is between like 3,000-4,000. So that was a massive. They have Cafe A, B, C, and then like the CCA, I believe they call it, which is just massive. So it's like you have 1,000 kids per lunch at Fisher's High School, and we manage it. So it's
That's
like
wild.
we can make it happen. And I was trying to convince them, like, hey, we'd love to have this here, and it's just getting shot down.
What's your goal for 2026 for High School Hustle?
We had 2,200 signed up. I think shooting for 20,000 students to sign up.
10x.
Yeah.
20,000 students signed up to start a hustle.
Yep.
And then how many do you want to get to actually hustle?
I think, making the funnel wider on the bottom side to, make their first dollar. I would say it'd be awesome if we can get 2,500 to 5,000.
Yeah. Jackson, what's your goal for 2026?
I just want to start a business, get into something new, keep running the power washing business, but start something new. Power washing is such a low barrier to entry. I mean, anybody can pick up a power washer and go knock doors, versus more niche of a business. Like last Saturday did power washing for Will Schuler, the owner of an excavation company.
I love Will.
Yeah.
His episode of this podcast was one of my all-time favorites. That guy is the OG high school hustler.
He would show up with a semi, like, the whole story of the school.
Dude,
it's just insane.
He's the all-time hustler.
He started with log cutting. It's insane.
So you power washed for him?
Yeah, I did a couple pieces of his equipment and was looking to scale in that. But I mean, once again, it's got such a low barrier to entry. He can pay anybody $20 an hour to power wash for him. But we talked about sandblasting, and now that's more niche, and it's got a higher barrier to entry where not everybody can just go pick up a power washer and get to it. So something
sandblasting.
Yeah.
What, like, is that for painting? Like you'd be.
So if you're wanting to paint something and you want to take off the previous layer of paint, then you sandblast it, which is essentially just spraying super high-powered sand at a piece of equipment to take off the previous rust, paint, whatever it is. So that's just one of many.
So do you have other business ideas that you're thinking about?
Yeah. Ordering e-bikes actually off Alibaba and reselling them here.
Dude.
Because the e-bikes are just growing.
But isn't Carmel, I think they're going through like there's like a whole government thing. Because respectfully, you kids rip around on your e-bikes in Carmel.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're so fast.
Yeah, they're pretty
like
quick.
You need a full-on like motor, like a dirt bike helmet.
Never again.
Yeah, dude. Don't get Hunter behind the wheel of a motorcycle. Danger, speed.
Yeah. So I mean, those are just growing all over the place.
You could start like your own e-bike dealership.
Yeah.
That would be kind of sick.
Yeah.
A lot of people are stingy with their business ideas. They're like, oh, I already know that it's not a good business idea. Usually if someone's like, yeah, before I tell you my idea, I need you to sign this NDA. And it's like, bro, what? Like, I'm always the biggest one of like, I'll just win with whatever the idea is out of execution versus like some crazy whatever. Like Gary Vaynerchuk talks a lot about this too, where it's like, he'll tell you whatever because he's just going to win on execution. And so like not being stingy with your idea of like swearing people to secrecy about whatever the thing is. Like if you're like going to start this business, just be the best at it.
Yeah. And I think execution matters a lot more than the idea itself.
Yeah.
I think that like you can go decently big with any idea. It's just a matter of how much effort you put forth.
What was the biggest lesson from your experience with High School Hustle?
I'd say my biggest takeaway was perspective. Like overall, I think that a lot of kids have the idea that you need good grades, high school, then you go to college to get a good degree and job. And the perspective I've got from High School Hustle that just shows that like a lot of kids spend a lot of time on video games, whatever it is, not knowing that you can start the path to financial success right now. There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
And that perspective has come from High School Hustle.
What do your parents say about High School Hustle?
I mean, they support the program. It's great.
Do they ever get like frustrated with you for not being a normal 15-year-old kid? Like, dude, like go outside and climb a tree or something.
Yeah. I mean, with grades especially, like I want to hold my grades with high school to leave doors open, but also want to put a lot of time into.
Are you saying that you don't want to go to college?
Yeah, I'm not looking at going to college.
Why is that?
Maybe I will just keep doors open,
Yeah.
but I mean, because of the path that I want to go down and not work a 9 to 5 and start with a certain degree.
Can I put some interesting perspective in your mind?
Gladly. Yeah.
Okay. So I was not from Carmel. I didn't grow up around a lot of financially affluent people. So growing up in rural northern Indiana, I felt like the community that I found, I went to DePaul, shout out Tigers. I went to DePaul and I found that the community of people that wanted to be there thought like me. Even if they didn't do the same thing and didn't like, want to be, like I was entrepreneurial, like I had a bunch of like side hustles and this, that, and the other thing. People at DePaul and the people I was around wanted to win. And having that connection point opened so many doors because eventually you'll run out of like the student entrepreneur thing where everyone's gonna like, not everyone, but a lot of people will give you business because they want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
And now like Hunter and I were both in the Orr Fellowship program, like stuff like that only accept college graduates. There's a lot, I would say today, making good money, 25 grand, incredible. I love that. I would say don't get caught only seeing the trees and not seeing the forest.
Yeah.
Like having the community of a college degree, like I could go to any DePaul Tiger alumni and be like, oh, you went to DePaul, like what was the score of the rivalry football game when you were there and blah, blah. And it just like creates a lot of community and opens doors there.
Yeah.
Now, some people look at college and are like, I just want the like strict paper certificate about blah, 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 blah. Like I think if that's your mindset, that's not super valuable. Like I think that you can teach yourself those skills, but the community aspect and like, at least from like a small liberal arts college, they taught us how to think and write and speak and all these extra things. So I would just say like, don't go full blown anti-college.
Yeah.
But also like, I like the fact that you're keeping your options open and you're not necessarily like pigeonholed into going to college because you've been told your whole life that's the right thing to do.
Right.
I want to add on to that. And just to be clear, like High School Hustle in of itself, like just showing one student, Jackson, that's not like, we're not telling students like, don't go to college, start a business, like don't care about grades. Like we see High School Hustle being a carrot in of itself to make David Arellano, who did power washing last year, went to Arsenal Tech High School in the inner city. And he made all this money, stopped showing up to school and got bad grades. And then our carrot was like, dude, we're not going to be mentoring. We're not going to help you anymore if you don't like close out your high school with 1, graduating, and 2, getting your best grades you can get. That semester, he got the best grades and best attendance yet. So it was like, we're a carrot. And I want to say that like, we're advocate for school and all that stuff. Like, we're not going to be like, go to school or don't go to school. That's not our decision at the end of the day, but we're not advocating don't go to college.
Right.
Like Jackson, I don't want to like misconstrue the audience.
And to add on to that, it's not that I'm saying, to go back to your original question, do my parents like get mad about being out of the ordinary, I guess?
Or you could call it extraordinary.
I just want to balance hustle with school. Not that school doesn't matter, but I enjoy the hustle more than I enjoy school. So I want to balance those things.
This episode of Get In is sponsored by Accounted For, a team of Indiana CPAs who believe accounting should work for business owners, not against them. Instead of hourly bills and slow responses, Accounted For gives you everything: tax, bookkeeping, consulting, and virtual CFO services under one fixed monthly fee. It's all cloud-based, transparent, and designed to keep your business moving without interruptions. You'll have direct access to a real CPA who knows your numbers and your goals because they think like business owners too. Learn more at accountedforcpa.com and tell them the Get In team sent you. I think that that it is so cool to see a high school kid that's just willing to put in the work. I think that the older that I get, the less motivated by strictly dollars and cents I become, and the more motivated. And I think the initial reps come from when you're young and you're trying to make golf cart money. When you're young and you're trying to make, I don't know, take your girlfriend on a dinner date money. And then you grow up and you're like, oh, there's a ton more cool things, and like entrepreneurship opens so many doors and it's flexible and this, that, the other thing. I think it's really cool. But I do think that the domino that has to fall is getting a kid to learn that you don't have to get the job at the local pizza place. Like you could do X, Y, and Z on your own. Like you could start making TikTok videos and eventually start getting paid on that. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, like
To dive into that, TikTok affiliate is legit. I was at the beginning of the summer, I didn't go huge with it, but I was making TikTok videos and promoting TikTok Shop, and that's...
You can, like, if you can be the Billy Mays of, like, selling stuff on TikTok, like, check the link in TikTok Shop. Like, you can make serious money. Yeah. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
I love it, gentlemen. It's been really fun getting to learn more about your story, Jackson, getting to learn more about the High School Hustle program, Hunter. I've been a huge fan of you guys and what you've been doing, oh my gosh, since the very beginning. Since you first took this role.
Yeah, you came and helped. I'll never forget. And it actually, because you were building Get In. And me and you talked as you came to Orr Fellowship. And I remember that initial time where I'm like, you were just speaking so boldly, oh, I want to work as hard as I can. And then other people are like, I just want the 9 to 5 and then to like check out and to get in the spot. And Nate was like, no, I want to hammer and go as hard as possible. Now, like, this is my guy.
It was at the Vogue,
yes,
right? Yes. And I was on stage and I had just started working at a startup. And like, when you go and work at a startup, it's just hard.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't close your laptop at 5 every night. You sometimes have to open it up before 9 a.m. Like you just like commit to this lifestyle. And I remember someone came up and asked about work-life balance. And I was just like, bro, in your 20s, like this is where I get to go and try to like put some space between normal and what I want to accomplish. And they were like asking like, oh, is that like, how do you like work-life balance? And I was just like, dude, this is not the time. Like one day there'll be a time for work-life balance, but right now it's like put your pedal to the metal and just see what you can do.
Dude, I remember, I think you were one of the first people to be answered that question, and then the rest of the people that were up there were in the corporate world, and they were like, "Oh, I definitely disagree with that." And I was just like, "This is my guy. I want to hang out with this guy." And I went up to Nate. I'm like, "Dude, I'd love to get coffee." And then we became friends after. The rest of history. Bat hats you were telling me about, and then it's like, I think I'm gonna spin off. Like, I think this content's going good. And I remember you had this small following. It's been such a cool thing through this whole journey, just to see like the leveling up, to the tailgating at the Indy 500, to like all this, the March Madness bracket, and just like blowing up. And I was over at your office when you're like, we're about to launch this thing. I think it's going to be pretty good. And it exploded. And I'm just,
dude, you were here when we did was it the bracket?
Yes. And you're like, we're about to launch this. I think it's going to be crazy. And then like people were like, why wasn't my city in this? And it's just like, but I mean, controversy or not, it gets attention. So I was dude, you've been crushing it. It's been one heck of a ride just to be like, dude, within like what, a year and a half, 2 years, just this explosion in God's favor, dude. Like this has been a blessing being in a passenger seat of seeing like your friend just explode.
I got to keep Hunter on the podcast more often. He's making me blush.
Chief of motivation.
Yeah, right. I would say like, one, I'm grateful to have awesome people like Hunter in my corner, and just to like just like Scott and everyone in the High School Hustle program is mentoring you as a 15-year-old, like those same people, like I'm getting coffee with. You know, I'm 28. Like I'm 13 years ahead of you there, but like from an entrepreneurial perspective, like I've been doing this full time for going on 2 years. Yeah, 2026 will be like 2 years full time, not having a
Yeah.
job, like making mortgage money out in the
Dude, you
real
get to
world.
hop out of bed every day and be like, I get to live in my dream. I get to do Some days it's probably not like that. Entrepreneurship, it's a roller coaster. But like at the same time, it's like you look back and you're like, holy cow, we got all this equipment. Like if you told Nate Spangle at DePaul you were gonna go, you'd be like, dude, you're out of your mind. I don't know if I could do that. Or like maybe you would have been like, I will do that. But like, dude, it's just
Like I think that's the thing where from an entrepreneurial perspective, it's like you don't always know what the path looks like, but you know that like by taking the next step forward, then the next step's going to open, then the next door is going to open, and like momentum creates opportunity, and like movement creates opportunity. So if you just keep going, and I would agree, keep all your doors open. Don't burn any bridges. Don't like put yourself in a position where you don't have the option to go to college.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know. I just think there is such a power in the community aspect, like coming from my hometown where I still have some near and dear friends. And like the next step was going to DePaul, and the people that I met there have been so supportive, so great to me. They buy the merch that we put out. They listen to the show. They like, sometimes DePaul will do like features and like put me in the alumni magazine and stuff. And I'm just like so grateful for that. And then into Or Fellowship, where again, they've been so good to me. They were one of the first sponsors for year one. Like so amazing, but only comes by like those steps into it. And then from there, I ended up becoming a high school wrestling coach and got into the Chatard community down here. And those people have been so supportive. So I would just say like entrepreneurship can be really lonely. And that's why I'm so glad that High School Hustle is putting together these groups, getting these young kids, at least in the same sphere. Like, the top 10 kids that all made over 10 grand, did they all make over 10 grand?
number
Okay.
150, 10th place, 17.
Like, you get 10 kids in the same room that all know how to make over 17 grand in a summer, like good stuff's gonna happen there.
Yeah.
Like put them all in a room, like give them $10,000 for a weekend and say, build me a unicorn. That could happen.
And what I think is super, because our mission is to awaken the next generation of entrepreneurs. So like the top 10 get highlighted a lot, but also that the other 90% of like that we're just planting a seed and they made $500 this summer or whatever it was. We see that as like, there's Scott, Scott, the co-founder, he didn't start a business till 44. Peter started a business right after college. There's other people that started a business right after. Phil Alt started a business right after high school or college, painting business, like, and did extraordinarily well in life. So it's all, God puts you through different seasons. And like, we just want to plant that seed for you to have a higher risk tolerance and to be comfortable with sales, all that stuff that you get with actionable entrepreneurship to whenever you do it later in life. So our goal isn't to turn around and make a bunch of Jackson Nunnerys at the end of the day. It's just to awaken and plant more seeds.
All right, we're coming to the final part of the show where we're talking all things Indiana. This question is brought to you by our friends at JC Hart. They're a leader in creating enjoyable living experiences at apartment communities all across Indiana and beyond. Check them out at homeisjchart.com. Jackson, we're going to start with you. My question, why do you call Indiana home?
You take this one.
I've been here a little bit longer.
There's
He's
so
like,
many.
He's like,
yeah,
bro, I got to
there's,
live
like,
with my parents, put the roof
man.
over the head.
Yeah, I guess in the perspective of
Hunter,
when
you
you're
don't
younger
though.
in high school.
You could be anywhere. You could have left and gone here, there, everywhere.
Yeah, I thought about, there's many other places. I think what it comes down to is there's all seasons. You get snow, it's cold. Sometimes it's like, dang, it's too cold. But I think ultimately all the seasons year round, like my cousins that have lived in Arizona and Utah, and never saw snow, and it like blew my mind, fireflies and stuff like that. But I think like the biggest thing is like, it is the Hoosier hospitality. I was just talking to a guy in San Diego, and funny enough, at a point in my life, after college a little bit, I was thinking about Or Fellowship after going out to San Diego, maybe living there. I was like, what's like the biggest thing you've seen in Indiana? And his name's Guy East. He would love saying this story. He's an awesome guy. He biked with Lance Armstrong. He's an insane guy. And he was like, you know what? The one thing I noticed about Indiana, without a doubt, is Hoosier hospitality. It's all these little things add up. People hold doors. People say hello to you, act like you're a person. People aren't just selfishly like, you know, of course on the roads there's road rage and stuff, but I'd say Indiana, like out of any other state, the Hoosier hospitality is so true. And it's so cool hearing a guy from San Diego say like, it is so noticeable. And we take advantage of that, of like, that's all we've seen growing up. Hold the door for the people or the older woman walking in. Like everyone just has that in their blood. It's the corn blood we have that we're going to be as generous and helpful as possible. You see people getting help on the side of the road. It's just that hospitality and the laundry list items of that comes with it, of holding doors, helping people out on the side of the road with the tire and don't know what they're doing, all these different things. Like that's what makes Indiana so good, the community.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think that
Minus that person who sicked their poodles on Jackson.
right. I would say Indiana seems, when it's at its worst, it seems neutral. And anything else but that is, from seasons to the community of people that we're surrounded by, everything just all checks out and seems really
I love that.
meaningful.
Setting the scene for 30-year-old Jackson. You're 15 now. When you live 15 more years, you're going to be 30. What do you hope you're doing, have accomplished? What would you want to tell 30-year-old you, so then 15 years you can come back and listen to this episode and say like, oh yeah, I remember I told myself. This is your time capsule of 30-year-old you. What would you say?
Money, I don't want to chase money too much, but I want to be able to have enough of it where I can use it as a tool to help other people and to make big differences. And I also enjoy the chase. I enjoy the hustle. So
If you painted the picture, what will you be doing when you're 30 years old?
I want to be faith-driven.
Yeah.
So in one way or another, have a strong background of faith and be in a lot of faith groups and be running some sort of business of my own. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So if you sold your soul to corporate America when you're 30, I'm going to send you this and say, what'd we do, bro?
What
happened?
Yeah. Why did you go down here?
If he's like getting his MBA and he's working at
Unless
Eli
he's the
Lilly.
CEO of Lilly, then there's a different conversation.
Fair. Hunter, what about you? 15 years from now, what do you think you're going to be doing?
You know, I don't even know what I'm having for breakfast in the morning at sometimes. I think it's just day by day. Whether I'm with High School Hustle, I think I've asked that question a lot. Like, what am I doing like in 5 years, like in a year or so? Like God just keeps on blessing me like crazy. So I'm like, I'm going to keep on riding this path to the day I die of like just listening to God. Like the two things that I pray that have changed my life are God, what do you want me to know? And God, what do you want me to do? By Jamie Winship. Had that on one of his podcasts. What do you want me to know and what do you want me to do? That has exponentially changed my life. I wasn't supposed to be in the nonprofit world, mind you, and I ended up landing here. God closed all the doors I was trying to chase, was in High School Hustle and running it. And the amount of energy, the amount of like, you know, there's nothing that can pay me that to see like Jackson thrive or someone that's never tried entrepreneurship try and make a couple $100 and a smile on their face, or that introverted kid you help be a little bit extroverted and see more in himself and all this stuff. I think like in the next 15 years, I'm really happy with where I'm at. I'm the happiest I've been in my life, and God continuously blesses me with this nonprofit. I think like without a doubt, I'm going to be involved in High School Hustle, but I'll probably be running my own business without a doubt. I've done a couple side deals in commercial real estate with some buddies and stuff like that, but eventually I'll be running my own business.
Even the guy who runs High School Hustle has his own hustle. Don't forget about that, Jackson.
Right.
Oh, gentlemen, this has been super fun. We've come to the part, we have the same 3 questions we ask every guest who comes on the show. Hunter, we're going to start with you. What's something the world needs to know about Indiana?
Experience the Hoosier hospitality. I think like without like, and it's opened my eyes, like talking to someone from Australia, talking to that live in Indiana now, just from all over, and to see like Indiana, like the reason what makes it so good is the freaking people. And it's like growing up in Indiana, you don't see, it's like you forget it. You take it for granted, but it's like, and I get to be a part of that. And that is like such a good thing of holding that door open for this older lady, me helping her take her to the car because she had a trouble walking with her cane. Like that type of stuff is what makes Indiana, and unlike anything else. Like you have to experience the hospitality.
Heck yeah. Jackson, if you could shout it from the rooftops, what's something the world needs to know about Indiana?
Yeah. So I had this thing I used to call Kid Power. And it was, I would ask for free stuff, or I would get like something that I wouldn't be able to get as an adult. And
Like
so,
what?
for example, like walking around downtown Carmel, I would stop in a popcorn shop and I'd get a free sample and then would ask for a free bag of popcorn. And I'd get a free bag of popcorn. And then I would this happened in so many different ways where I would use this like power of being a kid to get things. And whenever
crazy.
that is tried, or in Florida, when I go on vacation, wherever outside of Indiana, it's hard to do because the community of people in Indiana that powers and
Like
supports,
being generous. Yeah.
like just the loving community in general. Obviously, you still have people like you will everywhere who are going to be negative, but
Yeah.
in
But
general,
like, you're a kid, you're 10 years old, you're walking around Carmel, you're like, hey, I'll pop in here. Can I have some popcorn?
Yep.
Sure, kid, here you go. Like, have
Yeah.
a good day.
that's something that'll happen in Indiana more
Kid
than
power.
I think it'll happen
That's
anywhere else.
Bro, you are a one of one individual. Do not ever change. I think that's so, like, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're just going to say no.
Yeah, the worst result is a no, and
That's so sick.
yeah.
All right, Jackson, here's your chance to highlight a part of the state or something, a restaurant, business, park, whatever it might be, that more people need to know about. What is a hidden gem in Indiana?
Lake Maxinkuckee.
Oh, a man from Culver.
Yeah, you're familiar with
Yeah, I'm
Culver?
from Marshall County. So like I
There you
grew up
go.
15 minutes, Culver Community, not Culver Military, but Culver Community High School is in my conference. Lake Max is spectacular. I
Yeah.
think, in my opinion, the best lake in Indiana.
I would agree with that.
It's so
from what I
beautiful.
know.
It's so nice. Very, very cool. I
Yeah.
like Lake Max. What is it? The like the little downtown, the little drive-in.
Yeah, the drive-in movie. I mean,
Yeah, and the restaurant, like the A&W root beer stand.
Yep, there
Yeah.
you go.
Pretty fire.
Yeah.
Hunter, what is a hidden gem in Indiana?
I'm going to give a restaurant and then I'm going to give a place.
Okay.
Restaurant 317 Burger. Is it still here in Broad Ripple?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
making sure.
yeah, I mean, you can't say is it still. That means you have not gone to your hidden gem.
No. I just wanted to make sure. I haven't been in Broad Ripple. I moved downtown 2 years ago or whatever. But 317 Burger has the best burgers.
Dude, they have some fancy, like they put like they have really good burgers.
Because I was thinking, like, where have I not been in a long time and, like, is really good? And the only reason is because of the drive I don't go to is 317 Burger. I remember living in Broad Ripple, always going there. Best tasting burgers, big fan of them. And then a place is Jasper, Indiana, without a doubt. My grandparents farmed there, had cattle and stuff like that. So I'll never forget being in high school, having to go up and being like, I don't get to use my phone because it's, like, in the boons. You don't get to, like...
No, it's not that bad.
No. But in high school, that was my perspective.
Yeah.
Like you wanted your phone or whatever, and you have no connection. But it's something I can now appreciate of the quietness of like massive farmland. It's a beautiful area. The little town, the festival, German festival they have,
Bro.
like all of that. Like I think Jasper is an awesome place.
Bro, Jasper, DuBois County as a whole.
And the governor's from Jasper,
very,
Indiana
very
as
cool.
well.
It's a cool place. I have really enjoyed my time in DuBois County. Jasper's sick. The Schnitzelbank, the German restaurant, is down there. And what is that? Their festival, Strassenfest.
Yeah, I was gonna say it starts with an S. I can't remember.
Strassenfest. It is a heck of a time. All right. Final question. This is where you guys get to share their love. We get to talk about, we get guest recommendations or other people that are doing big, big things in the state of Indiana. Hunter, we're going to start with you. Who's a Hoosier we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
On the radar, I would say overall, like the hustlers, without a doubt. I think like high school hustle, like students in high school can be overlooked of like, they're having a popsicle stand or whatever. There's these students are absolutely surprising me with how much money they can make, one, but more importantly, the skills they can gain from it. So I would say respect the hustle, especially the high school hustlers that are putting in the work and putting in effort without a doubt. And I'd say Jackson for one, Cruz, Widener, he's going to do some seriously impressive things. Evan Walker, a name I'll throw out there. Blake Wilson at Fisher's. I could go on and on. Evan Hartman is another one to put out there as well. He's insane. So just a lot of high school hustlers without a doubt.
Amen. Jackson, what about you?
This sounds kind of biased, but I would say Hunter. I mean, he is basically the dream person I would want in my corner and helping me out as a young hustler. And from mentorship to opening doors that I wouldn't have access to otherwise, it's all done through Hunter.
Don't make me cry.
Dude, I will say this, and I'll let you know. Hunter Beale is a special, special human being. When I first met Hunter, I was like, it was at the Vogue, and he came up and was like, dude, we're like, I love you, like, blah, 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 like, and I was like, okay, like, is this real? And at first it takes a minute, and you're like, kind of like, okay, what's going on here? And then you realize that Hunter is the most genuine guy. He will always root for you, like, time after time. And like, randomly, you just pulled out like every big campaign we've done in the last 18 months. We're probably good for like once a quarter. We'll catch up and chit chat and like see each other around, and like, but right there, he's like, it's not like that he's not following. And it's not like he doesn't know what's going on. And he is the ultimate person to have in your corner. If you are out there and you're a parent of a kid in high school and you want them to be just around positive influences that are going to help them, whether it's, build a big business or just become a better citizen, just a better young man or woman, get them around Hunter Beale. I'm telling you, man, you're going to do great things. I'm excited to call you a friend. Jackson, I could not have picked a better person for you to shout out in that portion. It's been so much fun hearing about your journey, knocking on 1,000 doors throughout the summer, but before your sophomore year. Hunter, you're doing great things. I think the number is you guys went from year one, 20 students, to over 2,000 in 2022?
Yep.
Or 2025?
Yeah, it was about 140x.
Dude, insanity.
God's just blessing it. It's all glory to God on that one. Like, I wake up and I'm pinching myself. I'm like, how did we do that? It was all glory to God.
Well, now it's going to be 10x it again and go to 20,000, right?
Yeah.
If parents out there want to get their student involved, if students end up, they see Jackson's story and they end up watching this episode, they want to get involved, how do they do that?
highschoolhustle.org. We got an application if you want to be a mentor, if you want to help us with funding and funding their hustles. There's many miniature competitions as well as the big summer competition that we have, as well as like teachers as well. If they want to unlock this at their school, a mentor, a funder, or a teacher wants to do this, or a student, most importantly, because we got students like Jackson launching their own campuses, running that, and then getting mentors to the school to help them with their businesses. So launch a campus, get involved, highschoolhustle.org.
Yes, sir. Jackson, what about you? Who is the ideal customer out there for you?
There's two answers. I mean, for making big bucks, the people who have found success themselves and are willing to give back.
Yeah.
And the second answer kind of ties in with that. It's not as much about finding a great customer who pays for my service and is super supportive. It's more finding someone who will get behind me and be in my corner.
But if you want to be a mentor, you've done some impactful things and you're looking for the next generation to pour into, get involved with High School Hustle. They're looking for mentors. If you're a student out there, get involved. Like, it's been so cool. For a 15-year-old kid, it is so cool to hear the way you speak and carry yourself, like closing $6,000 deals. That's wild to me. Like, so cool. I love it. I know you're going to do big things no matter where this takes you. Like, just keep that confidence. Keep being humble. Like, you're going to crush it, man. I love it. This has been a fun episode, gentlemen, and we will talk to you soon. This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all my gear recommendations at Sweetwater. If you want a behind-the-scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.